Hey folks, welcome back to my channel, and thank you for checking out these videos. And if you could please like and subscribe, um, I would be much appreciated, as I will continue to make videos for your enjoyment and education. So today we're going to be talking a little bit about the key of G major and its relative minor E minor. So G major is probably one of the most popular keys that is ever played on guitar. A lot of country songs, a lot of pop songs, a lot of rock songs are played in the key of either G major or its relative minor, E minor. So let's get into it. So like I said, G major is probably one of the most popular keys for anything that's played on guitar in any genre of music. So we're going to talk about the scale, we're going to talk about the chords, and we're going to identify the notes and try to explain how you can sort of use these ideas in your improvisation or songwriting. So we're going to go through the scale. So I always, again, with all of my students, I'm a bit of a stickler for scales because it is the foundation of all music. So we're going to go through this G major scale, which is a diatonic scale, and we're going to play at 2 octaves. So what you want to do is start on the 6th string 3rd fret, and then you go to the 5th string open, then you go to the 2nd fret of the 5th string, then the 3rd fret of the 5th string, then you go to the 4th string open, 2nd fret of the 4th string, 4th fret of the 4th string with your pinky, then the 3rd string open, 2nd fret of the 3rd string, then the 2nd string open, 1st fret of the 2nd string, 3rd fret of the 2nd string, 1st string open, 2nd fret of the 1st string, and then you're finished on the 3rd fret of the 1st string. So again, this is a 2 octave diatonic G major scale. So now we're going to name the notes out loud as we play them. So we're going to have 3rd fret on the 6th string, which is your G, 5th string open, which is your A, 2nd fret of the 5th string, which is your B, 3rd fret of the 5th string, which is your C, 4th string open, which is your D, 2nd fret of the 4th string, which is your E, and then the pinky goes to the F sharp, which is on the 4th fret of the 4th string. Then you go to the 3rd string open, which is your G, 2nd fret of the 3rd string, which is your A, 2nd string open, which is your B, then you have the 1st fret of the 2nd string, which is your C, 3rd fret of the 2nd string, which is your D, then the 1st string open, which is your E, then the 2nd fret of the 1st string, which is your F sharp, and then the 3rd fret of the 1st string, which is your G. Okay? So that scale: G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, and then G. So in every diatonic scale we have what's called 7 notes. So we're going to kind of number these notes, because it's not only as important to know the actual letter names of these notes, but it's just as important as it is to actually know the numbers. So if you ever done do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, then you know that you're identifying each, for singing, you're identifying each note in the scale with a vowel tone, okay? So it's just as important to know the note names, which is G, A, B, and going through the notes, and then it's just as important to know them with an actual number. So obviously the first one is 1, second note is 2, 3, 4, 5, open D, 6 is your E, F sharp is your 7th note, and then when you go back to the G again, that's your octave. And then we basically go through that scale a second time. So now you got your A again, B, C, which is your 4th note in the scale, and then your D, which is your 5th note, open E is your 6th note in the scale, F sharp is your 7th note, and then G is your back to your root, back to your octave. So the thing is, like, there's 7 notes in the scale, and it's very important to identify the notes associated with the letter names. So now, the most important thing when you're playing in any key is knowing that the 3 primary chords is the 1, 4, 5. So the 1 chord in the key of G major is G. The 4 chord in the key of G major is C. And then the 5 chord in the key of G major is D. And all you're going to do is go up the numbers of the scale, like I said. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's your C. So it's a C major chord, that's your 4 chord. And then of course the next letter in the scale is a D, so that's your D major chord. So that's how you get a 1, 4, 5, and you can also do it on your fingers. G, A, B, C is your 4, that's your 4 chord, and then D is your 5 chord. So if you put a strumming pattern to that, just doing a down, up, then that's how people write songs. So 99.9% of songs that are written on the planet are all based around a 1, 4, 5 progression. So you do a strumming pattern, straight down, up 8 times, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 on the G chord. So I'm going to just go through the 1, 4, 5, 8 strums each. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And do it again. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 5, 6. So that's how people write songs. And if you're ever in a jam situation with a band or something like that, you know, and they say, oh, we're going to be in the key of G major, you can guarantee that most of the song is going to be based around those 3 chords. The G, the 1 chord, the C, your 4 chord in the key of G, and then your 5 chord, which is D, and then it'll come back to the 1 chord. And these can actually be mixed up kind of in any order, really, as long as you're kind of basing around your G chord, right? And then of course you can use your scale to kind of write melodies, or use them for your solos. And when you're kind of identifying those notes that are in the scale, I always strongly suggest to kind of map those exact same notes along the whole fretboard. And we can get into a systematic approach to do that. Now, every single major key has what's called a relative minor, and every minor key has what's called a relative major. So they're all the same notes, but the G major has starts on a G, and it goes through the 7 notes that we explained. And of course you have your 1, 4, 5, which is your most common progression known to mankind. And then the relative minor starts on the 6th scale degree of any major scale. So if you identify those notes and you go up 6 notes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you have an E. So E is G major's relative minor. So E minor. And then of course E minor's relative major is G major. So whenever I'm playing a key or playing a song, and right away, as soon as the song, say it's in the key of E major, or sorry, E minor, I'm always going to be thinking what its relative major is. And then vice versa, if I'm in the key of G major, I'm always going to be thinking what its relative minor is, because they share the same notes, and sometimes songs go back and forth between the major and the relative minor. So now that we're in the key, we're going to talk about the key of E minor. We're going to go through that scale. So the E minor scale starts on the 6th string open, which is your E. Then you go to the 2nd fret of the 6th string, which is your F sharp. Then you go to the 3rd fret of the 6th string, which is your G. Then you go to the 5th string open, which is your A. 2nd fret of the 5th string, which is your B. 3rd fret of the 5th string, which is your C. 4th string open, which is your D. 2nd fret of the 4th string, which is your E. Then you go to your pinky on the F sharp, which is your 2nd note in the scale. So you got E on the 2nd fret, 4th fret is your F sharp. Then you go to the 3rd string open, which is your G. 2nd fret, which is your A. And then you go to the 2nd string open, which is your B. 1st finger on the C. 3rd finger on the D of the 2nd string, and then you go to the 1st string open. So that's your E minor scale. course, when you're comfortable with playing these scales forwards, you always want to do them backwards. And I mean, there is, you know, just endless amounts of songs that are based around E minor. Obviously, the band Metallica, probably 99.9% of their songs are all based in E minor. Yeah, so E minor is a very, very popular key, especially for blues, stuff like that. So let's get into the progression. So just like every major key, its relative minor has a 1, 4, 5. So the one chord is E minor, and then you go up 4 notes, 1, 2, 3, 4, which is your A. So the 4 chord is going to be A minor, and then the 5 chord, of course, in the next letter is going to be B minor. So strumming pattern: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. So an example of doing kind of like a G major kind of thing, Don't Rock the Jukebox is a great example. So don't rock the jukebox, G, C, C, G, C, D, G, C, G. So that's just one example. Another one is a Taylor Swift one, Fairy Tale. So those are just 2 examples of literally thousands and thousands of songs that are based around the key of G major. Another great one is Behind Blue Eyes, which is based around E minor. C, and then A. E minor, G, D, C, so again, that's another one that's based around E minor. So there you go. There's a little example of how to do a G major and E minor. Well, I hope you got something from that video. I'm going to continue to make more videos for your entertainment and education, and going through more scales and explaining theory behind these scales and how you can use them in an improvise or songwriting session. So again, thank you for liking this video. Please like and subscribe to my channel, and I will continue to make more videos. And again, I do have a book now on Amazon, and it's all based on blues improvisation. So if you get a chance to get on Amazon and to check out my Blues Guitar in Your Hands, then please do so, and order the 8.5 by 11 copy. All right, have a great day. Cheers.